Alright, so this isn't a news video or anything that should make people go crazy. This is more like my thoughts with everything revolving around RE9, and I'm basically going to be trying to carry this like some sort of mini podcast episode. That's if I can even make this a decent sized video. And more so going to put all options onto the field, I guess, for the possibilities for what this game could be about. For the past year and a half, we have been just wondering about when this game could come out. Some of us expected in 2024 a trailer for the game, since a lot of insiders quote-unquote claimed that this was a 2025 game. That didn't happen whatsoever. The biggest thing we got was an announcement that the game was in development, but that was something a lot of us already knew, but it was nice to get the confirmation regardless. Heading into this year, a lot of us did expect something again, and we saw the PlayStation State of Play announcement, and the further I watched, the more I realized it wasn't showing up. It didn't help that Monster Hunter Wilds was shown first and Onimusha games were shown in the middle. I'm happy that other games are getting the spotlight nonetheless, but as an RE fan that has a channel about Resident Evil, it kinda hurts knowing that it didn't show up. And it also settled in that the game is more than likely not coming out this year, and at best we can hope for a reveal trailer in the summer, especially knowing that Capcom really likes to reveal their games in the months of May and June. But aside from a reveal, I want to talk about the game itself and my personal expectations for it. Now again, most of the stuff I'm going to be saying is going to be a response to the rumors that are flowing around, which none are confirmed to be true, as we legit know nothing about this game right now. I'm going to make a video about this in the future, but ever since I made that one video reviewing RE Village on its 1-year anniversary, saying it's going to become the most underrated RE game and say it was the best story, let's just say I was smoking a good dose of crack. I'm not going to take away anything this game did good, but it has soured on me quite a bit. And like I said, a video will come out with me fully stating what I mean. RE9 needs to be better than Village, in a lot of ways, and I do believe they got the best director possible for that to happen. And I also hope and believe that is Capcom's approach with this game. Village looked amazing, do not get me wrong, but I know for a fact that 9 will look just as good if not better. Another thing I want to say is the cliffhanger, which is the biggest thing about Village and what could possibly happen with that. I ultimately think that we will only get a brief file explaining what went down, very similar to what it was like in RE4 Original and the remake. How they explained to keep Ashley being kidnapped top secret and sharing details about the investigation before Leon showed up in Spain. And if they don't do that approach, I think the best alternative is a possible CGI movie building up RE9, especially if this game is the most ambitious one in the entire series. I think if you reveal RE9 and then a week or two later drop a CGI movie trailer about what was going on in the BSAA after Village, I would 100% tune in. Because I'll say this, Infinite Darkness, despite me watching as soon as it dropped, it didn't really have a big reason for me to tune in. Death Island, despite me going sour on that movie, it gave me a reason to do that because Jill came back and every single main RE character was in that movie. It had a draw, and I think if the next CGI movie can somehow plant the seeds and provide further context to the story of RE9, then I'm fully seated. Let's talk about the rumors. The biggest thing going around is who the main characters are, that being Leon and Jill, which what to me sounds like a two-story campaign. Some of these people who are spreading these rumors respectfully disagree with each other, but let's talk about if this is all fake. I would applaud Capcom fully without having the game leaked for remotely a second, and it would be hilarious if the story would be about something completely outside of what we are hearing as of lately. I don't know if it would be a bad decision to have it something different, but we will eventually find out. For the characters now, I want to talk about Leon and Jill in this primarily, and for the people that really don't want Leon in this game, I want you guys to hear me out. It's been since Resident Evil 6 since Leon has been in an updated game to the timeline, and it's like that with Jill being in RE5, which I'll get to that later. Ever since then, he's gotten a bunch of CGI roles that include Vendetta, Death Island, Infinite Darkness, along with 2 remakes. I get what a lot of people are saying, which is that they're tired of seeing him. If there is any story that can potentially be wrapped up in this sole game, it's his. Because I personally don't know what else is left except for concluding his story with Ada. I don't see anything else. And yeah, if he is in RE9, I expect Ada to be in the game because that's just how it is. I personally would feel a little puzzled if she wasn't in the game with him. But that's just me. Also, I think his remake days are done, and the CGI films he could still be around unless something changes where other characters get the shine later. Now for Jill, there is a whole new side of her character that Capcom can capitalize on. How is she carrying herself after those 3 years of enslavement and brainwashing? I'm not expecting anybody to be the same character if they were put in that spot, and also killed innocent people and helped Wesker nearly achieve his goal with Ouroboros, and it makes it even more fucked that she was aware of it all. We saw how she was in Death Island, and I want to see more now with the organization she helped co-found using BOWs, or what is it like during the aftermath of knowing what is really going on. It's not necessarily fully about how long she's been absent truly in the games, it's also that of all the main 4 characters that we have the opportunity to witness a character being more fleshed out with something new to work on if you're Capcom, it's her. As for the Redfield siblings, it's hard for me to figure out where Claire could be. Like, I really don't know, because she's in the middle of putting the gun down of being a humanitarian at TerraSave and fighting bioterrorism. I use Rebecca and Chris for that stuff because we know for a fact Rebecca has completely committed to creating vaccines now, and Chris, we know what he's doing. It's also interesting to know where she could fit into a story about what is going around in the rumor mill. Chris, on the other hand, could easily be an option to be a main character or in a Hunnigan type role for Jill. I really don't know. Also, I forgot to mention this thing about the Leon and Jill thing. There is another side of the fandom that really want to see these two in a game together, and I am on that side. The most popular male and female character not being in a game together of a video game franchise that has been going on for almost 30 years is crazy. I think for me it's better to do it sooner rather than later, and what better game could you do it with? Let's talk about the gameplay now. RE4 Remake's gameplay is very addicting. It's amazing and I love a lot about it. However, I want this game to be more slower paced, if that makes sense. We damn near had RE4 like gameplay with Village, and then we got the remake of 4. I'm not saying it's the camera's fault or anything like that, by the way, but I do want to see a more slower approach for us to really soak in what we are getting into. I know that these characters are not what they were when they started off, but bring us back a little bit into that world of survival horror with these characters. And I do think that's what the direction Koshi Nakanishi wants. He said he found a solution or whatever after RE7, so hey, if it could be a combo of RE7 and 4 Remake's gameplay in third person, sign me up, especially if it leans into the RE7 stuff just a little more than 4. If you can blend the gameplay together and have good enemy variety, etc., this has great potential to be an amazing game. Now let's talk about the enemies and the main villains. You guys remember a few years ago where we got the first few batches of RE9 leaks saying there was going to be Wendigos in the game? Yeah, that was a wild time. A lot of people, including myself, didn't necessarily like the fact that mythological creatures were going to start to show up like that, but if you really go deep into the lore about Wendigos, I kinda see the vision for them to be in a Resident Evil game. And do they have to be exactly a Wendigo? No, they can make a whole new enemy that is inspired by them, that can have that cannibalistic trait about them, and the desire to eat. Also, it would have to be in a cold environment. Now, does that mean they gotta be the main enemy? Absolutely not. They can be in a tier like the Chainsaw Guy where only so much can show up, but they're around regardless and you have to be aware. I'm gonna make a video one day about the potential of these creatures either in a Resident Evil game or just a new horror game, and I hope to release it soon. From what I've heard from most recent rumors about the zombies that are like the Ganados, as much as I love those enemies, I just think my consumption for them is already full. Lycans were a cool enemy, but they had similar traits to the Ganados, and then we had 4 Remake, and now supposedly these zombies are going to have similarities to them. I know I said I want the zombies to be the strongest they have been, but not to the point where everything has to be inspired by the Ganados, like the Moon Cult rumor. I think just having that in back-to-back-to-back games is a little too much, and I would prefer a different direction in that department. Now for the main villain again, I'm going back to the rumors of what is being said about this Mr. Simon guy. I wouldn't be surprised if this was true, especially that RE needs a new villain, and it seems to me he's more focused on Leon if the rumors hold true, and I would be interested to know about who he is. Also, there are 2 looming things I want to talk about, and more so I want an explanation on. Number 1 is the connections. I think this organization needs to be fleshed out more and be focused as one of, if not the core villain in this game, and maybe the Simon guy could be a major person behind the connections. I think with them being known about in RE7 and on top of being mentioned in RE8, it is very vital to know who is truly behind everything with the Megamycete. And with the rumors suggesting that 9 will be the end of this virus, I need the connections to be more involved in this game more than any other they have been involved in. Secondly, I feel like a lot of fans' personal preference on who should be the main villain is more so Alex Wesker. After reading through her story, it really does make some sort of sense to be behind the Megamycete a bit. Hear me out. We know the BSA are using BOWs and all that. They were also responsible for the end of her plans on Cian Island in Revelations 2. It started with Barry, and once Claire showed up, they raided the island and ended everything there. She built all of that up in, I believe, 2000. So it was just over a decade long until it went to shit. She has a lot of motivation, I guess you could say, to go after the BSA and Natalia's body, who is practically an adult now in 2025. Not to mention Albert died to Chris and the BSAA. So there is multiple layers that you could take advantage of and use in this game, but then if you do that, then what the fuck happened to the Burtons? There is a rumor that Barry is back as well, but the man is going to be in his mid-60s. He better not try and kick ass and pop a hip, but him just being there would be great fan service and all of that. It's good stuff in my opinion. Now for my final piece probably is the setting of this game. Supposedly on an island, which is what both rumor spreaders were saying. I think if they really want this game to be as big as it said it is, it's got to have a lot of content. It reminds me a lot of Revelations 2, but way more content from what the list has said. If y'all aren't aware about the supposed location, which is an island, has like temples, forests, a hospital, and a lot more other things. I'm intrigued and I've been a very big fan of the forest aspect. I would like to see more of that stuff in RE games, and I think the closest we got was being Barry in Revelations 2. It's funny how I mention that game a lot, and it's like, damn, there's some inspiration possibly there. I like Revelations 2, it's in my top 5 RE games, so I wouldn't mind if the inspo was there. Before I end this off, none of this stuff is confirmed to be real. This is just me trying to drive some discussion about this game and whatnot since it's been pretty dead lately. The funny thing is that maybe there's a chance 9 might not even be the next game, it could be a remake. But who knows, maybe that's another video topic I can talk about later. I know I pumped out RE9 stuff like crazy, but I am really excited for this game, and what it could possibly be about. I'm looking forward to so much, and with the 30th anniversary being next year, we should remain patient for the time being because it will pay off. I promise everyone that. But I want to ask you guys a few questions before I end this video. What are your thoughts on the entirety of the RE9 leaks, and is there some you want to be true or false? What do you want the game to be about, and who do you want to be the main character? Thank you guys for watching, and be sure to leave a like on this video to help it reach the algorithm, and subscribe for more content like this in the near future, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out, and much love.